Greetings, Bahlali. Speaking here is Councillor David Ntako Mudupi, the Ward Councillor of Ward 67. Today we are here in Council to make...
Tapeluga Debe, Ward 52, Councillor. We're here today in Council to try and approve the loan, which is very important for the development and progress of our city. Without this loan, we won't be able to do most of the service delivery we promised our people. When we approved the midterm budget, part of the agreements that we had was that to augment our budget, we'll have this loan as part of...
Hey guys, welcome to it, man. This is another episode of the Free Ride podcast, and of course I am all the way here in Council, and of course I'm broadcasting from a council meeting that was called by the Speaker of Council, Mayor Margaret Arnolds. And of course this is a council meeting that has been called to address one particular item. And this item has come before council for the third time now, and it's a 2.5 billion rand loan. And of course this particular item has been brought back because the last time there were not enough numbers to support this particular item, and of course it is an item to address the issues of funding in the city, because the city has various methods of raising funds to ensure that it keeps its lights on and pay service providers, and of course pay employees, and make sure that some of the capital projects actually do happen on the ground. And of course before I carry on with it, let me first start with the first councillor who is going to talk to us about this particular loan. He serves in the committee that deals with finance, and he's going to share with us his his views about why this particular item has come through. Let's take a listen to it. Let's go.
Tapeluga Debe, Ward 52, Councillor. We're here today in Council to try and approve the loan, which is very important for the development and progress of our city. Without this loan, we won't be able to do most of the service delivery we promised our people. When we approved the midterm budget, part of the agreements that we had was that to augment our budget, we'll have this loan as part and parcel. So we're hoping today Council will approve the loan and we'll be able to give our people service delivery.
Where is this loan from, leader?
It's from a development bank of France. It's one of the banks or institutions that we've spoken about last year and approved. It comes with very favorable terms compared to the other institutions that we've spoken to. So it's a very good loan with good terms, and we're hoping that it's going to be approved today.
Thank you, leader.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, welcome back. And of course right now I am about to speak to the second councillor who is also going to tell us about today, the attendance of council meeting. And when I'm done speaking to him, I'll be speaking to the MMC in charge of EISD, which is Environment, Infrastructure and Service Delivery, Jack Sekwaila. He's going to come and speak to me just shortly. But before we do that, let's listen to Councillor Mudupi, what he had to say.
Greetings, Bahlali. Speaking here is Councillor David Ntako Mudupi, the Ward Councillor of Ward 67. Today we are here in Council to making sure that we are going to approve the loan request of about 2.5 billion. This loan is going to assist a great deal to making sure that we pay for the projects that are stalling now. We've got the projects that we know are supposed to be continuing, but they have stopped because of the lack of finances. It is very difficult for us to collect enough revenue as the city, because we understand your situation as the residents, that majority of yourselves are not working. However, I want to say we need to keep on paying for the rates and the services that we consume, the electricity, the water. For those of you who are unable to pay for these services, you need to make sure that you come to us as the councillors. We will take you to the offices whereby you will apply for the ESP so that you can be recognized as indigent, so that you can get the rebates, you can get the benefits of being unable to pay. You can continue to get these services. Let us avoid connecting illegally, because that overburdens the grid. At the current moment, you can hear it's very, very cold. While it's cold like this, other streets are without power. I've been getting the calls that other streets are without power. The power has stripped off. It's because of the overloading. Let us avoid switching on geysers and heaters when we are not inside our houses, because that overburdens the system. With those words, I want to say I love you all. This is Councillor David Ntako Modupi from Ward 67. Thank you very much.
All right, welcome back to it, man. All right, so we've listened to two councillors giving us why they are here in council today. Of course, it's a free ride podcast, and today I'm looking at what's happening in the city of Johannesburg's council. And yes, I am going to listen to, I'm about to speak to the third councillor, Jack Sekwaila, and who's going to be telling us about the issues pertaining to today's council, and of course the issues of electricity, the 200 Rand surcharge by City Power that has got residents going a little bit crazy. And let's take a listen to what the MMC had to say.
Morning to residents of Johannesburg. This is MMC Jack Sekwaila in the city of Johannesburg. We are here in council today to request council to grant us the permission to take a loan. This loan is very much important to us as a city, as you know that our finances are not good in terms of collection rate. We're at something percent instead of 90. I think this loan will assist us in trying to deal with the backlog that we are facing. Our service providers, many of them faces quite a number of months without payment, which is wrong. I think in our case, this loan will assist us in terms of paying them, so that at least we are able to service our own community out there, city of Johannesburg. You know, the backlog of infrastructure, the dirtiness in Johannesburg, in the inner city, and so on. But this loan is very much important. The city needs this loan today. Thanks very much.
Leader, just in terms of your portfolio committee, how important is this loan for your portfolio?
No, it's very much important. Just to know that from the previous budget allocation that city had, that was tabled by the MMC Finance here, a lot of budget came to this department, but not necessarily because of the favor so on. But I think there's a serious backlog of infrastructure renewal within Joburg Water, within City Power, the same. You can tell that even yesterday when the Minister of Electricity, Sputla, was speaking a lot around or updated nation around energy issues in the country. He also mentioned about the difficulty of municipalities that they are facing in terms of infrastructure renewal. Transformers are burning because of overloading and so on. I think overpopulation also in Johannesburg means that as a Johannesburg Water and also City Power must then invest a lot of money in building and renewing their own infrastructure to meet the demands of the current population. So it's very much important in ESG that we get this loan. Thanks.
Leader, last one, the issue of the 200 Rand surcharge. Can you speak to that? Why is the city implementing this, and how does it impact residents?
Look, it is important, and unfortunately we understand the pain that our residents are facing, but it's very much important. As you know, there is 70 Rand service charge and 130 for availability cost. So what normally happens here is that even if in your own household you don't use electricity for a month, but the city makes sure through City Power that there is an availability of electricity within the network. So immediately you buy, then it's immediately available. But for the city to make sure that in our network there's forever electricity, it needs a particular amount of money to avail that particular electricity within our network. But then again, it is important that we balance both pre and post-paid users within Johannesburg. As they've been explained quite a number of times that those within prepaid, they were not paying it as compared to the other ones. So we wanted to balance these things. But it has been there for many years ago. I think it was passed in 2018. So we just stopped it during the time of COVID because of the availability issue within Johannesburg. But now we felt that we must then bring it forward. It's not only in Johannesburg, it's happening across the country. It's just that we are late. And I know that it happened concurrently with the increment of electricity of over 12%, which is unfortunate, but I think the city where it is now, it needs to implement it. I think it needs to be done. Thanks very much.
All right, thanks a lot, MMC. Maybe a word of encouragement to those who are, using electricity excessively today.
No, look, I think our people must refrain from using other things such as trolleys. We are told that abantu basebenzisa ama-drone bayo-connect ukufuthumeeza endlini zabo, but I think those are the things that account or contribute to the electricity overloading. They must use the relevant appliances that you can buy at stores, heaters. Or you can catch a coal fella where you high since if it is smoke it's also very good also to do that. But I think people must stop overloading the system. Because what we've experienced is that, especially in areas where our people don't pay for the services, they normally overuse, which is wrong. But I think we understand, but they must refrain from that, so that at least we don't want to experience a situation whereby and so on, because abantu basebenza izinto ezingekho emthethweni to keep themselves warm.
Absolutely. Thank you, Leah.
All right, thank you very much, Councillor JHB Cllrs. And of course, this time around, I'm going to turn to council. And of course, this time around, it's really just to look at the debate that is going to happen in council. I'm only looking at two politicians at the moment, and Councillor Modupi does speak in council, and he had this to say.
Councillor D. Modupi from the ANC.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And thank you very much for providing me with this opportunity. And allow me to also greet Chief Whip of Council, Ubabuzung. Allow me to greet the Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Kabelo Kwamanda. Madam Speaker, it would also be unfair of me to conclude my salutations without having extended my greetings to the leader of the caucus of the ANC, Councillor Dada Morero, who is also a very progressive chairperson of the ANC in the Greater Johannesburg region. Allow me also to greet the Secretary of the Johannesburg region, Secretary of the ANC, Sasabona Mangani, aka Blackbone. Madam Speaker, I'm rising here to speak on this item of the loan request. And I'm saying, Madam Speaker, as the African National Congress, we see nothing wrong with the request of the loan. It is very disturbing, Madam Speaker, that when we're listening to our counterparts, particularly from the other side, I listened when they were speaking. They are making reference to 200 charge of the service fee plus network availability fee, which is not our own making, which is a recommendation which was done under the administration of Mashaba in 2018. We are just concluding what they have done.
Councillors, we listen to everybody quietly. Can we do that again, please?
We are just concluding what they have started, and as this council, we should not be chastised for the decisions of the past which were taken before we became the councillors. I became the councillor in 2021. And this decision is a long-standing decision. And they should actually own up to it, because it was a decision taken under the administration of their leader. Madam Speaker, I also find it difficult that people will come in council and say that the interest rate is too high, but they are not giving us which institution is offering us a lower interest rate. at least if they were going to be giving us the alternative and saying this institution is giving us this much interest rate in comparison, but they are not giving us this comparative analysis. They are just saying too high. And we need to make sure that we, Madam Speaker, we divorce politics from service delivery. Our people are waiting for the service delivery. Our people are waiting for the capital projects to be completed. But here we are in council, instead of approving the loan because of the current financial obligations, we are politicking. It is my plea to this council that we prioritize the residents and we forget about our partisan obligations. We know we are all obligated to our own political parties, but we need to at some point prioritize our residents in the city of Johannesburg. As the African National Congress, Madam Speaker, we support the request for loan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. MC Morero.
Thank you, Speaker of Council, for giving me the opportunity to respond to some of the concerns raised by different parties in relation to the item. Perhaps, Speaker, let me begin by saying, in fact, in 2023 June, this Council resolved on this aspect as they approved the funding plan of the City of Johannesburg and endorsed the fact that the funding of the budget will also include borrowings and loans. And as a result, this council endorsed that towards the end, we will then approve a loan to support this budget. And that approval was given in this council meeting in 2023, which all of us would have been part of that council meeting, except those who have already left for national government and provincial government. It is also important to note that without this loan, our financial position is completely compromised. And that it will imply that the budget component for external loan is unfunded and to the tune of about 2.5 billion. Therefore, it must also be noted that about 2.5 or 2.1 billion of the external loan component has already been spent between CapEx and other commitments, which is currently standing at just around 78% spent. And what I find difficult here with the council today is that parties are not supporting this loan whilst they had actually supported this budget in 2023. Now, the budget was approved with the external loan component in 2023 in June, and some of the speakers have already alluded to that fact. It has also taken into note the funding plan was also approved by this council, and the funding plan did speak to raising of this loan at 2.5 billion by utilizing various sources, including international DFIs, to help us with the money that would need it, which also included AFDs. Now, to disapprove or not to support the external loan from the AFD is going against the decisions of council. Now, Madam Speaker, let me also refer to what has been raised by council on the 200 availability charge, which in actual fact, the mayoral committee has also noted and heard concerns as coming from communities and civil society organization about the concerns on the amounts on the availability charge, which availability charge would have been brought to this council in 2018, but following the 2019 COVID, this council resolved to suspend the implementation of the availability charge. It is therefore along those bases that, Madam Speaker, we stand here also as the executive, having listened to what has come out from our communities, that we are willing to enter a process to look at this availability charge and its impact on residents and undergo a process to review these amounts. Of course, that reviewer will have to take into consideration the necessary and relevant legislative processes that would have undertaken to arrive at this amount. So this executive has therefore brings to council a commitment to relook and review this availability charge amounts. Having said that, Madam Speaker, once again appeal to council that it is important that we get the support and approval of this budget, of this loan, so that we can support the budget that we ourselves approved in 2023 June. Let me conclude therefore, Madam Speaker, and refer to the commitments that we have made in terms of ourselves raising revenue and continuously collecting. And we have shown in the last month of February and March that our collection rate was hovering at 90%. Unfortunately, we have not been able to keep it constant, and that could also be attributed to the current economic conditions in which our people find themselves in, as a result of loss of jobs and generally no growth in the economy, which then affects our ability to achieve the required 90% collection rate. But our efforts have always been put in place to ensure that we are able to get to that level of collection. And we are also being cognizant of the fact that for us to be able to support the budget and other services, we must ensure a 90% collection, which will keep us at about 4.5 billion every month for us to be able to respond to all other service delivery matters. At this stage, we are hovering between 3.9 to 4.2 billion on a monthly basis, which continues, of course, to put a strain on our financials. But however, we all know that the budget of the city is supported through at least three sources, which is our own cash, its grants, and the last one being loans and borrowings. So as part of this budget, we have to raise loans and borrowings to support this budget. We are also committing to ensure that we put more pressure on our officials to go back and rework the numbers, especially as it relates to availability charge. And myself and the executive mayor have already spoken to our officials to go and spend more time and see what best can we do within, of course, the limitations of the FMMA. With that said, Madam Speaker, I hope that my statements will be able to convince council to vote in support of this loan, so that all of us can ensure that we are able to take this city forward, especially in this period where people of South Africa and Johannesburg in particular are looking at us to make relevant changes in advancing their quality of life
6
in
seconds
the
left.
city of Johannesburg. And I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, and therefore request this council to approve this loan. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll definitely make sure that we go back to council to listen to the last part of council to hear and see whether this item has been approved by council. So let's quickly take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to listen to what happens then in council, whether this amount has been approved to the city to be able to do the things that it's supposed to do. All right, let's take a break.
Wait, I want to ask you a question on the camera. So, Mr. Kenny, what are you doing in Durban, July?
Party.
Now, I want to ask you, how did you follow the theme?
Blue, ride the wave.
I thought we were supposed to dress up. You were in jeans, Kenny.
Hey, Baba, some things when somebody drives a Corolla, you'll say he drives a car. When somebody drives a Porsche or a Ferrari, you say he drives a Ferrari. You don't say a car. So don't say I'm wearing jeans.
Okay.
Because I'm wearing Gianfranco Ferre.
Yeah. Well, you need to show us. Let's see the label.
Okay. I'm wearing Louis Vuitton.
You are styling.
You can't say I'm wearing a jacket. I'm wearing a Miri.
Black Coffee will be happy about that.
You can't say I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'm wearing Xenia.
Wow.
Yeah, some things you must call.
Welcome back to it, man. This is the Free Ride podcast, and of course, my name is Sipho Wagamasigo, and of course, I'm broadcasting all the way from a council meeting that just took place today in council in the city of Johannesburg at the Konibapela Council Chambers, and of course, we've just had a debate between politicians to debate whether the 2.5 billion rand loan, whether it's going to be carried by this council. And of course, as promised, take a listen to this, man. The item did not carry. I don't know what this would mean for the city of Johannesburg going forward, especially when it comes to salaries and of course contractors and of course service providers and so on. Let's take a listen to this, and hopefully I'll get some councillors and hear what they have to say.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Speaker.
Good afternoon, Councillor.
Thank you. No, Speaker, I wanted to say, I think it's in your discretion to grant a caucus break. I mean, after the response by the MMC, caucuses can, in fact, request for a caucus just to reconsider if they want to reconsider. So it's proper, in fact. There is nothing wrong with that.
Okay, councillors. I think I agree with Councillor, my partner. I forgot your surname today. Mabaso. You know, you sometimes forget who's your partner if you have many. So I think no, but you've long gone. Councillors, I think Councillor Mabaso has a valid point, being the fact that he speaks and he says there could be reconsideration or whatever they want. They have probably heard something in the speech. Can we allow that, but not 1 hour? Can we have less than an hour, Councillor Nabuhle? Councillor Nabuhle, can we have less than an hour?
40 minutes, Speaker. 40 minutes,
30
please.
minutes.
If you can push it to 40 minutes, please.
I no longer going to take hands. I'm going to allow them for their caucus, and we will move.
Speaker, you are out of order.
Greetings, Bahlali. Speaking here is Ward Councillor of Ward 67, David Ntakomodupi. I just wanted to tell you about the implications of not having approved the request for a loan of 2.5 billion rand today in council. Other councillors they indicated that they are not going to support that because it is a matter of give and take, and it is very disturbing to hear other political parties talking about give and take when we're supposed to be prioritizing residents. Now, what are the implications of not passing this the request for the loan by the administration? The implications are that there are projects, as I'm currently speaking, which are supposed to be benefiting from this loan, because this loan is part of the funding framework that was approved by the same very council in the last financial year, meaning that there are projects which were approved on the basis that this loan will be approved. But finally, we've got the councillors who are playing politics. Instead of just approving the request for the loan, they are saying it's about the give and take. It's very bad, residents. It's very bad, and these are the consequence of us not having one dominant political party. These are the consequence of us having coalition governments, because each political party is negotiating for itself. I'm going to make a clip. Please follow me on my TikTok and on my Facebook. I'm going to make a clip of the councillors in the Chamber of Council saying that it's about give and take. It's very bad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, leader. Thank you.